What's good, my people? Welcome to Whole Views. Today we're going to be talking about an Indian movie called Tumbbad. Before getting into the film, I want to throw out a few disclaimers for people who might, think things about me making these type videos. I do want to focus on more Indian films because when I do anything related to the Indian film industry, I do get quite a few views and a lot of response from people from over there. So I do want to kind of give them more content because they show a whole lot of appreciation when I do cover their more recent movies. And I also want to say that I've always been into foreign films, and the first film that I did a review on that was a foreign movie was The Platform. I think that was Spanish or Italian. I'm not certain where the country of origin was for that one, but I really enjoyed it. I got a lot of views, a lot of feedback, and it does seem like the international audience does favor a lot of my videos, so I do want to do more international films. The reason why I picked Tumbbad to be one of the first ones to cover is because I actually heard about this Indian horror movie that was supposed to be really good that came out a few years back. This was released in 2018 and I watched it, and I want to say that I feel like this is a good movie, and I want to call it a wholesome horror, which is something that most people probably can't wrap their mind around. Like, how can you have a movie that is a horror based, but is also considered wholesome? And here's my line of thinking. So for me, the idea of a movie being wholesome means it must have some type of moral value to it. So the allegory that they're playing out in the course of this film is that greed is bad, and they show it to you over and over again. The ending of the movie is very predictable. Like, I knew at some point that our main character would have to pay the piper. He's done so much looting of this little area that he goes into. Like, I knew that at some point it's gonna come back to bite him, and either it's gonna bite him because he's at a point in his life where he's just done so many horrible things in the name of getting more riches, or it's gonna come back to bite him because the greed has manifested itself to where he's willing to risk it just a little bit too much to get some more gold coins. While that ending was predictable to me, it was actually very well executed, kind of coming full circle with the main character suffering the same fate as his grandmother had suffered earlier, like being bitten and then being stricken with that immortality. Like, it's crazy the way the grandmother kind of just didn't die, and the way that they reveal things in this movie is really, really cool. And that is what leads me to say that the movie is good, because it treats the audience like they aren't stupid. Like, a lot of movies do too much exposition. This one says, come along for the ride, and as you're riding along, we will reveal more and more to you. So about midway through the movie is when they actually get to the real horrific elements of the film, because up until that point it was just a drama with some mystery involved in it. But when you get to about the middle portion of the film, where they actually show you the gory details of what our main character has to do every time he goes down into that hole and comes back up with gold coins, it was like, yo, you are really, really risking it going down here. And he did it for so long. I was happy that they broke the movie up into chapters, and they showed you a little timestamp at the bottom that actually shows you the different eras of life that this man went through as he came from nothing. The first time we introduced to his wife and his household is like a shack, and then by the time you get to the final chapter of the movie, it's like, man, this dude is in a mansion and he's balling off of this. And any reasonable person would look at him and say, hey, at some point you have to stop, and you just have to live off of what you have and find new ways to parlay the money that you've made into more money and not be too greedy. But the moment that he started talking about including his son, I was like, ooh, that's gonna be your downfall. Either you're gonna do something too horrible and sacrifice your son in the name of greed, or you're gonna come up with a plan that's, again, focused on the greed. I want to try to get all I can get this one last time, and you're going to get caught up in it. So it was cool the way that it played out that it did, but there's so much still culturally that I didn't understand. And it's not a roadblock for me. It's just more things that I got to learn as I go forward on my journey with the different Indian films. One of the things that really shocked me and threw me off is when I realized where he was going. So they show that he's going into a hole, and I want to say also right here that the cinematography of this movie is very ambitious, and it's so ambitious that I feel like it was a kind of a drawback. Another reason why I don't put it in the pretty damn good or damn good categories, because it's like I was very disoriented at the way his descent was depicted as he like went down the rope into the hole and then dealt with the little demon that was down there with the gold satchel on his back. So it was slightly disorienting, but it didn't take me out of the movie. And I think it puts me in a place where I'm like, kudos to you for being ambitious, but then at the same time, like, I wish you kind of just laid this thing out just a little bit more clear for me to understand the dynamic of this room. Because once he descended into the room and I'm looking at the pictures on the walls and stuff, there was a part where he spoke to his son and he said, into the womb, and I'm like, oh, so that is what this is. And then I noticed the stone painting over the little, like, it's like a box thing. He lifts it up and you see a stone carving onto it, and it's like, oh, a womb. Like, this is really a womb. This is wild. This is crazy. And there's so much about the deities that I don't fully understand, but it's not a roadblock again. It's just something that, you know, if I care to know more, there's a lot more that I can look into and learn a lot more about. But I enjoyed my time with the movie, man. I think it was a good one. It was something that I was interested in. I heard about it from years ago, and it was cool that I was able to go in and take a look at it. The next movie that I plan to sink my teeth into from that part of the world, somebody left me a comment in one of my videos and said, KGF is like one of the biggest movies that came out over there, and there's a part 1, part 2. So I'm gonna check out part 1 and part 2 and then give you all my thoughts on them in the coming weeks and months and stuff, on top of all the other content that I plan to be doing. So it's not like I'm gonna change my whole channel and just do Indian films, but I will try to incorporate more, because again, those people show me so much love whenever I do a trailer reaction or do anything related to their film. So I'm in. Let me know what y'all think about the review, what y'all thought about the movie Tumbbad. I know it's from a few years back, but if you check it out, let me know what your thoughts on it are. That's all we got for this one, y'all. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.